A big welcome to Stephen Sharp, manager of Stoneyburn FC, to the non-league radio show. Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Stephen. How you doing? How's things?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. And I don't know what it's like up there. It's a bit wet and windy in the northeast of England here, but we're doing all right.
It's the same up here, but this is kind of summer weather for us. So I mean, we're embracing it.
We are t-shirts. Right. Before we get on about Stoneyburn, I just want to find out a bit about yourself. How you got involved, like maybe it's your first memories of football, how you got involved in football to the point where you're at now, where you're manager of Stoneyburn.
Yeah, well, it's a strange one, very strange background for myself into football. I started, I didn't play the game as such due to ill health. I like to blame ill health and that I suffer from Crohn's disease, but I think the fact that I was absolutely terrible is something to do with it as well. I wasn't really talented at the game. And I started off with my local semi-professional side. And I started off as a first aider. And I worked at a couple of different clubs as a first aider for about 10 years. And then I got the opportunity to go in and coach at youth level, at under 16s and under 17s. Done that for a couple of years. Then got the opportunity to go and manage within the amateur game. Kind of just worked my way through the ranks. Then I got the opportunity to join Stoneyburn, where I started off as first team coach. And then latterly, when the manager decided to resign, I put my name forward and got the job. And that's now coming up on this year. It'll be 3 years as a manager.
I don't think Mourinho and that played football either, so you're looking good.
But I've got a funny feeling that Mourinho had a left and a right foot. I certainly had neither. But no, in terms of the playing side, my health did hamper it a little bit, to be honest. But I would never ever have got to any sort of level. So I think sometimes that anything you do in life, there's levels, and you've got to find the right level for you. And the football playing side of it certainly wasn't for me, but certainly with all the learning and working with some good managers and coaches over the years, I think coaching and management was something that I definitely wanted to pursue.
I was going to say that how much experience you must have gained, like starting from the bottom. I don't mean that in a bad way, but starting from the bottom and working up to where you are now, you must have gained a lot of experience along the way.
Oh, 100%. I mean, 100%. You work with coaches, you work with managers, and you see the way that they deal with things and the way they set up and the way they work, and you also look at it, what would work for yourself, and you learn and you go and make mistakes, and you go and try certain things, and things work for you, things don't work. But I think that's been the biggest thing for me, starting off at the age of 15, 16 in the first aider role and learning about the dressing room environment and working up for there. You learn so much, and without being derogatory to coaching badge systems and things like that, you learn so much more from being in at the deep end and learning off people than what you do at any course that you can go on, I think.
And we'll move on to Stoneyburn now. You're playing black and white stripes, which is always a bonus. Well, your home strip is, away strip's red and white, but your home strip's black and white stripes. That's good. The Fulshie, as I can see, the nickname is.
Yeah,
I've read up about that on today about the history, but I'll talk about the history when I do the live show on Saturday. I'll read. Not that I'm clever, just I'll go on Wikipedia and I'll read the history out about the club.
Brilliant.
So you're now manager. I'll find out a little bit about the club. So you play at Beechwood Park at Stoneyburn.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So what's the facilities like? Obviously, again, on all these, I've never been to Stoneyburn, so if you could paint a picture of your facilities, that would be great.
Do you know what? The facilities over the last 3 or 4 years have came on leaps and bounds. The whole setup now, the dressing rooms have just been redone and brand new dugouts, and the playing surface is very, very good as well. But we've got a very small band of committee and helpers. And I mean very small. There's not loads of them. and the work that these guys have done at tail end of COVID and moving on has been phenomenal. And unfortunately, just last year, our secretary suddenly passed away at the age of 40, 42, 43. So I think there's been, from then, everybody's wanted to come together and make the place something that Stephen, who passed away, would be proud of. So for me, I get very, very proud of how well the place is looking, especially when you're trying to sign players. You're able to bring them along to the ground and give them a tour and show them what the place is like. And it's always good when it's guys that have maybe been at the ground, say, 5-6 years ago, and they turn up and they go, wow, the place is completely different. It's looking amazing. And it really is a great selling point.
I was going to say, I don't know if this is up to date. It says a capacity of 3,500. That's quite good. for a lower league club.
I've yet to see 3,000 there. If I'm honest, I think the most I've seen over the last the most I've seen over the last few years is 300-400. But that's very good in terms of the level that we're at. I think it will be the same down south. A lot of the lower leagues, you do struggle to compete with your big teams a lot of the time to get guys through the gate. But we've definitely, I think we average now most home games between 80 and 120 supporters. So for a small village like Stoneyburn, it's growing. So hopefully we can continue to develop that and get more people through the gate.
Yeah. Before we get on to the league that you're playing, because I've done interviews with teams in higher leagues than you. So before we get on the league, you mentioned you're a small team. So what sort of help do you have? Obviously, like a first team coach as well, like you used to be. Have you got people helping with training and stuff?
Yeah. At the minute, I've got.
Feel free to shout the names. Feel free to name drop. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I've got a couple of coaches, Fraser and Gary, who are in helping me. I've got my first aider, Guinness, who is a real good character in the dressing room and brilliant for the players. And then obviously we've got a committee, our chairman, Davey, and then we've got a groundsman, Richard, and there's a few kit people, Kim and Snakebite. That everybody chips in and works really hard together. And I think that's key to success of any football club and a football club running, that no matter what your position, whether you're a player, whether you're in the management staff or the board or the committee, you need to all work together. You've all got the same outlook that you want the club to succeed. So you've really got to work together to be able to achieve any sort of success.
So how many teams are you running within the club?
Well, just the one at the minute. Just the one.
Yeah.
Just the one. There might be scope for the future to bring more youth teams within the club umbrella, but at the minute there is just one.
Do you have enough sort of personnel so you're not struggling on a Saturday, if you know what I mean? Do you have enough to pull on if you need to?
Yeah. I've got a very good squad in terms of numbers. I'm sitting at a squad of 18 to 20 at the minute. A few injuries, but we've got a very settled squad, which is a positive, because I know at times it can be difficult for teams to get players in, especially a lot of the teams in our league at the minute. There's a lot of money getting bandied about the lower levels here, so it's very difficult to compete at times with the budgets that some teams have got. So the fact that I've got a good sized squad, I'm pretty proud of that.
So with that in mind, I'm guessing everyone's part time. There'll be no full time players.
No, there's not. In Scotland, there's not really any full time players until you get up to the Scottish Championship. Scotland are a bit different compared to down south. You'll find that even teams in your Championship, there's certain teams. So look at Arbroath for instance. Arbroath were challenging for the league last year, and they're a part-time football team. They were challenging for the league to get promotion in the league against Rangers, Celtic, Hearts and Hibs, yet they were part-time. So it just shows you the difference in football down south to up here in Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know figures, but I'm probably aware that local clubs around here, non-league clubs, local to me, Blythe and places like that, are probably playing half decent wages to some players. So, you know, I mean, they must have more money coming in, I'm guessing. But like you say, if there is money going, I'm guessing people must just get paid expenses. Is that how it works if people need expenses to travel?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams in the league, there's a lot of teams in our league at the minute, without talking out of turn, there is teams that are paying very, very good wages in terms of for only training 2 nights a week and playing the Saturday, but financially in terms of our club's stability, we just can't afford that at the present moment. So it's more a case of your bonus at Christmas to the players and expenses for away games and stuff. But I'm very lucky that I've got a squad of players that really feel passionate about playing as a group and playing under myself and playing for the club. So money's not really an issue in that terms because they don't bother about it. They just want to go and be as successful as they can, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, great stuff. Now we'll get on to the league you're in. I'll tell you who I've spoken to. I've had interviews with Preston Athletic in the First Division and Musselburgh in the Premier Division. You're in the Third Division. I've looked at here. I obviously understand there's no relegation.
No.
And the two teams that are first and second are looking a little bit ahead of the rest of the guys. So, what sort of standard are we talking in the league?
I'll be truthfully honest, Stephen. I genuinely believe our league's one of the stronger ones, and I think that goes by if you go and look at the league above us, the two that are sitting top of that league at the minute, or near round about the top, are Whitburn and Syngenta, who were the two teams that got promotion out of the league last season. Now, it's not derogatory to any team in the league above because it's a strong league as well. I also think that'll be the case next season if it is your Bowness and your Armadale that end up going up. I firmly believe they will be up there challenging for the league above next season as well. Our league is a very good standard. I think so far since I've been manager, we played Dalkeith, who are a league or two above us. We beat them. We took Musselburgh last season to penalties and won the cup competitions. And even so much to this year, we managed to get a bit of a shock result against Berwick Rangers, who are sitting in the Lowland League, and put them at a cup competition. So the standard is pretty good in our league.
I'm not going to touch on other teams too much, but Bowness must have a canny striker. 109 goals have scored. That must be some going.
There's one guy for the club that's scored over 50 already. And he's a phenomenal player. That you've got to take your hat off to the lad. We played them on Saturday, and they beat us 4-2. First half we didn't really, we weren't great. We weren't terrible, but we went in at half time 3-0 down, and the game finished 4-2. And even a lot of teams scoring 2 goals against Bowness this season has proved difficult for a lot of teams. So no, they've definitely, they know where the net is. That's for sure.
Oh, that's good. We'll get back to yourselves. What's your plan? Maybe is it just stabilising and trying to build slowly, get more people involved, more teams?
Yeah, for me, I want us to climb the league. I think that the league position we're in at the minute probably is deserved over the last run of form that we've had over the last few games. And we've had a few blips this season, but I still firmly believe that we can probably push mid-table minimum, but it's going to come with real hard work. But it's about, for me, keeping the squad together as much as we can, adding where I think we need to add to, and slowly progress into where I'm wanting us to be. And it'll take time because there's not a budget there, and there's not a pot of gold. It takes that bit longer, that bit more perseverance. But if I can keep the nucleus of squad that I've got and add 1 or 2, I think we will keep progressing, and that's overall the aim. Obviously, for the club as a whole, it might be something that we look down the future of getting some more youth teams involved and building it up from there. But that's obviously something that myself and the committee would need to sit down and discuss further. But I think the club's definitely, as a whole, going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I can see you're a couple of games behind people as well. Well, one on some and two on other teams. So I don't know if you've had weather-affected games as well, but there's chance to gain some extra points there on teams above.
But definitely, I mean, you looked at our fixtures for January, and we're up against the two top teams. Then we go into a cup game where we're against Spartans, who are sitting top of the Lowland League, 4 divisions above us, and you go to yourself, it's a tough January. But you then go into February, we keep the heads up, and we take every game as it comes, and there's scope there to pick up points and climb the table. It's really down to us collectively on the day. A lot of the games that we've not picked up points this season, we've came away and it's been our own downfall. Silly mistakes, lack of concentration, but we know that needs kind of rectified. So there's definitely scope to start pushing on up the league. But again, it comes down to us on a Saturday.
So I can see this being in December there was a few games postponed. I'm guessing you'll have to catch up with those.
Yeah.
And it might put pressure on, like playing midweek. And what do you do for training? Is it 2 days or 1 day a week or?
Yeah, 2 days. Tuesday, Thursday we train. So no doubt, come the summer and the lighter nights, no doubt we'll probably be playing Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. That's the way it'll go with the amount of games that we've probably missed out on.
Yeah. No, great stuff. We touched on the capacity of the stadium that earlier. So what sort of fan base are we looking on a weekend for home matches?
It really, really does vary. And it also depends on some of the teams that we're playing against. Some of the teams don't bring much of support. Teams like your Armadale, who are sitting near the top of the table, bring a cracking support. But from ourselves, I think I touched on it earlier, we're probably averaging, going on the facts and figures, that there's a guy, that Ryan Kelly, that does all the facts and figures of all the teams and who goes to the games, and we're averaging normally about between 80, 90 to about 120 most home games, which is a fairly average crowd for us and for this level. Whereas you've got teams like Armadale, who are a bigger area, they're getting sometimes 300-400 at their games. But for us, definitely, I would say probably about the 100 mark.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was Preston Athletic. They struggle, or one of the teams I spoke to struggle. It might have been who I spoke to earlier in the week, because there's a rugby team as well, and the rugby team's well supported and they play at the same time as the footballs on, which affects them. Have you got like barn facilities on site as well, like on the ground? Is there bars or?
Yeah, we've got a hospitality lounge that people can use and things like that. Not got a club or a pub as such, but we've got a hospitality facility which is fairly new. That's been quite popular. We've got a local bowling club and stuff very, very nearby as well. If people want to go and get a draft pint or something before the game, it's like literally a less than a 5-minute walk. But no, in terms of having like a proper club or social club, we've not got that. But a lot of people come in and use the hospitality suite, which is quite good.
Yeah, is there any other non-playing stuff we maybe haven't touched on or I've missed out that you want to give a shout out, people that help behind the scenes that maybe doing on, like prominent people? Yeah,
I think there's numerous people that you could mention. I think the list is endless. I know we've got a small committee, but there's so many people, sponsors and things that all chip in, and there is so many of them that all do as much as they can. I'm a firm believer when you're looking for sponsorship or you're looking for people to support your club or help, no matter what they do or what they, like, it doesn't matter if it's somebody's giving you a fiver or somebody's giving you 500 quid or somebody's giving you an hour of their time or a day of their time. Everything's unique and everything's much obliged and much appreciated. I think the most important thing you can give somebody is giving up your time to help. So the list is endless, and from my point of view, I really appreciate everybody that does anything, no matter how small they think it is. it makes a massive difference to the club and the running of the club.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed with a lot of clubs, and I say this every interview, and it's surprised me to the hill because I'm into my social media, how good the football club social medias are, of informing people, putting goals up, sponsors up. It's excellent that people have the time to do that. You know, if they're just because they love the team, and they want to get involved, and it's great that to keep people up to date with what's going on.
I think there's some teams at our level that are actually, some of their social media and the way that they conduct themselves, the way they do social media is better than some of the top flight teams. So it is really good to see.
Yeah, and it's a way to get sponsors out there as well, like new signings. I can see on yours, it was signed December the 30th. And it gives people who maybe don't have moved away, who want to follow the club as well and get involved. It's great. I love I'm a social media geek, so I love it.
It's great, and do you know what you said there? People that have moved away, it allows you to have a bigger catchment area, and it allows you to, as you said, you might have people that have maybe stayed in the village that used to support them, or their granddad maybe played, or their father maybe played for the team, but they've moved away, and it allows them to keep tabs on what's happening at their local team.
It does. Well, it's been great talking to you, Stephen. I could speak to you all day about football as well.
Definitely.
I'll have a chat with you when we're finished here. But if there's anything else you want to give a shout out, obviously you've got a game this weekend. Who are you playing this weekend?
We've switched our tie this week, so we're actually away to Armadale now rather than at home. The game on Saturday there against Bowness, I'm still a bit in shock that the game was actually allowed to go ahead. I'm not 100% sure the park was fully playable, but you go with the ref's decision. Yeah. And so the park took a bit of a battering. So it was very good of Armadale to agree and the league to agree to switch the game. Allows us to get more time to work on the park and get the park back in its good condition for games in the weeks ahead, because we've actually been given 5 home games in a row. Now, in this time of year, in lower league football, 5 home games at this time of year can be very, very difficult.
Yeah. Good in some ways, but bad on the state of the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Bad for the groundsmen and the people that take care of the park, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, people want to check us out on Twitter. It's at the Fulshie. That's Fulshie. In case you don't understand the Geordie accent. At the Fulshie. But thanks for coming on the show. It's been great, Stephen.
No, thanks for having me, Stephen. Much appreciated and good speaking to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.